Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is a reading. This is a new reading. The last reading I did was weeks and weeks ago. I feel very called to post these readings, but it also feels like I'm not meant to really be very structured about it. It's really just like when I feel the calling to post a reading, to film a reading, that's when I show up. This reading, the desire and the calling for it really started coming in a day ago, I think. I was gonna do it yesterday and then I couldn't create the space for it yesterday, so it's happening today. And I don't know, before we even go into the cards today, I'm just going to start pulling from what's coming through already. And there's been this very miraculous miracle energy that's been coming through over the past few days. And at first, it came through so strongly on Thursday and Friday that I was really my mind got bamboozled. But my mind tried to place this energy's materialization into this weekend, because mentally I was oh, it's the full moon on Sunday, Monday, so this energy is probably going to really drop into the physical reality, this miracle vibe on the full moon. Duh, that's what my mind was thinking. But obviously that was just it's so hard to practice not taking the energetic insights that you receive and not automatically attaching them to mind constructed timelines, because that's not really how this thing works. Something that's been coming through for me a lot recently is just the idea that manifestation, the relationship between manifestation and time, is not what we think it is. We often think that there's our manifestations are inhibited by time, we need to wait for something, but really it's about actions that we take. There's specific things or moves or actions that we're meant to take, and that's what pulls these manifestations into our life. And I feel this reading, it came through to be done yesterday, and then I couldn't create space for it. But this reading feels like one of those tasks that feel completely related to this materialization, or the energetics that I feel of this miracle energy. It dropping into the physical, literally I'm seeing it literally popping into existence. It's not something that I have to wait for, but there are certain steps or actions that I need to take before it can drop in, so this reading for some reason feels related to that for me. And so that's one of the strong energetics underlying this reading, is this miracles coming in. There's something really cool coming in, and just the definition of miracles, we hear that a lot in religious spaces and stuff, but really think about what the definition of a miracle is. A miracle is just something positive that happens in your life that you weren't expecting, or that your mind wasn't already foreseeing, or it's something that you could be expecting because you're intuitive, but it kind of, the event taking place, or the event happening, the miracle happening, it is something that happens beyond mental understanding, or something that even if you were trying to imagine it before it dropped in, if you tried to imagine it, you couldn't really guess it, because it's coming in from left field. It's coming in from, you don't have the mental framework to place an event like this, and so it appears as a miracle. So if we look at religious stories and mythologies, in Christianity, Jesus was known, that was one of his things, right? Performing miracles. healing the sick, like with the lepers or people who had this like disease or something that was just like incurable, or they thought they couldn't really heal it, or there was no version of medicine in that physical reality at the time that was able to heal it. And so people would just stay away from these people with this lepers. Is that leprosy? I guess. But then Jesus came in and he was able to transcend that limitation, and he just came in and was like, oh, you're healed. And so that event, like when people witnessed that event, people witnessed this thing that was mentally, like according to their mind and the experiences of their past and things that they have learned from their own experiences and what other people have told them, this is not possible. Or it's like, so it's like, it's just at that time, it's like not possible, you know? And so then when someone comes in and does something that's not possible, it's perceived as a miracle. And so the energy coming through with this miracle, it's like, it's not like as out of the realm of possibility, but it's kind of like the vibe is like, whoa, like what are the actual chances that something like this could happen? Like, it feels miraculous. Like whatever this event is for you, it's obviously going to look different for each one of us that's watching this video, but like for whatever it is, it's like the vibe is like, what, like how, like what are the chances, like the probability, if you try to like trace back in your mind of like all the things that needed to happen and fall into place for this thing to come into fruition, for this thing to drop in, for this event to take place, it's like awe-inspiring. So I don't know what it is. If something, like, I would love for you to keep me updated, and I will too as it comes in. Again, like the timelines are not clear because like I said, there's certain things that we need to do before this thing can like fully pop in, and each one of us is going to have our own kind of timeline with this, because these things, it's like, it's almost like you can sense that something like huge is gonna happen, and your body can sense that, and it's almost like your nervous system will feel slight resistance to these tasks. Like even with this reading, like this is not a difficult task for me, but I did feel resistance yesterday, which is why I didn't do it, is why I didn't record it, because I was like, I don't know, I just felt like I was like, I'll just do something else. And so I couldn't create space. And then this time it's like, I was like, okay, I need to do it because clearly this is important. But there's some sort of like slight resistance to these tasks that we're meant to do before this thing fully drops in. Not because they're hard tasks or there's anything like, specifically difficult about the task. It's just because we sense where these tasks are going to lead us. And it feels like a very, 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 very big shift. Or like, like miracles are also sometimes hard to process, right? Because we don't have those mental frameworks. So, okay, that's like 8 minutes of talking. We're gonna get into the cards. This is the Divine Feminine deck, or like Goddess deck, Divine Feminine deck. I don't remember, I'll link it in the description. Okay, so there's gonna be 2 cards that come from this. Pull. Oh my god. This one literally says, it says Catherine Labouré. I don't know who this woman is. Definitely some sort of historical figure. The patroness of miraculous healing. And then the words underneath, the affirmation is, I'm ready to heal. I'm worthy of the miracles meant for me. Can't make this shit up. We've also got like cathedral type of energy, like literally what I was just speaking on, this like Christian miracle type of like, whoa, that's crazy, that's amazing. She's also holding like an amulet in her hand. I can't really quite see who is on it. Some woman. She's pointing to it. And I do want to look up, I'm going to go grab the guidebook and just kind of understand who this woman is. Catherine, who's Catherine? Who is this lady? But when I look at this, like, I can't see who this person is in this amulet thing that she's holding, but what I'm getting from that is just like she's pointing to it as well with this hand. It's like pointing to the divine feminine within. You know, it's like this concept that it's because we have been doing all this work on reclaiming our feminine energy, and like it's because of the inner feminine and the divine feminine energy that we've been awakening and embodying and doing all the hard work that we've had to do over the past few years, that this thing is coming in, this miracle. So let me go grab the guidebook. And it's right here. How nice. So let's see. 48. I'm just gonna read it. I don't often look at guidebooks, but I feel like with this deck, because there are quite like historical figures that have made some sort of impact on the culture, that it's always fun to get like a history lesson from it. So she is Catherine Labouré, embodies our capacity to facilitate our own healing. Catherine was born in France in 1806. When she was 9 years old, she picked up a statue of the Virgin Mary after her mother's funeral and said with a kiss, "Now you will be my mother." As a young woman, she became a member of the nursing order of Saint Vincent de Paul in Paris. She chose this order after she had a vision of Saint Vincent's heart in the church on Rue de Bac. In 1830, Catherine had a vision of Mary standing in the Vesica Pisces, with rays of light streaming out from the center of her open palms. She asked Mary in the vision why some of the rays don't reach the earth. And Mary explained, "Those are the graces for which people forget to ask." Catherine was instructed to create a miraculous medal based on this vision of Mary, which is what she's pointing at. So that's Mary, I guess, Mother Mary that's the woman in that. A medal, like a, you know, like when you win something, like a medal. All who wear them, it is believed, will receive great graces. Saint Catherine's miraculous medal became wildly popular among all sects of Christianity. It is worn by millions of Christians all over the world to this day. Well, that's cool, because for some of you watching this, that might be an accessible object for you that you can just like go out and buy, or maybe you grew up Christian and it's already around in your home or in your parents' home or grandpa or something. Like, that could be useful for you to really anchor in this energy. But what I get from that, if you don't have access to that object, you don't need the object. The object is just the symbol that anchors in this energy. It's just a reminder. But what it's really pointing to is your own ability to decide. Like, when you hear me talk about this in this reading, there's a version of your mind that is like, there's like a version of you that is skeptical. Even for me, as I'm saying this, there's a version of me that's like, what the heck am I talking about? What do you mean, Arij? Like, because what I'm talking about is energy and it's not fully popped into reality. Nothing is fact. And because it's not fact, our mind can't accept it. So there is always going to be part of us that is not going to be accepting, or is going to like hold skepticism about these things that haven't fully popped into reality yet. You know, it's like kind of like, okay, like I'll believe it when I see it. We don't have to get rid of that part. That just chills with us. But then there's this other part that's like more like heart-based, that feels the truth in this. And I feel like with this, with the medal, like that object of the medal of Mary, it's kind of like when you work with that object, or when you work with the energy of that object points to, it's like making this decision that you're going to stay open even amongst the skepticism. Like, yeah, you know, like you know what, like I can't see it yet, but yeah, you know what, hell yeah. Or heaven, yeah. You know, like If also, like, if I went in for the skepticism, I wouldn't be making this video. But because I'm more strongly anchored into the faith and the inner knowing, I can come out and make this video right now. And so it's kind of like this pointing to the fact that you're in control of, like, you're in control of how open you are to miraculous things. And it's like when you're too closed off mentally or like too far deep into skepticism, you will literally like block blessings that are there for you, because if they did come through, it would like obliterate your mind in a way that you wouldn't be able to like really put the pieces back together. So it's almost like the more open you can be to miracles and the more you can train your mind in whatever way makes sense to you, like a way that I've been able to, like, first of all, there's literally this book that I see right now, it's sitting over there. It's called A Course in Miracles, and it's also about like the Christian framework of miracles, and that has a lot of codes. Really great book. That was something that I first tuned into to help me open up my mind to the concept of things that are out of the realm of possibility, to really like soften the skepticism. Otherwise, there's another book in my shelf right there as well called Autobiography of a Yogi, and that is more of a like Vedic, Indian, South Asian, yogic like stream of wisdom. And in that book, the writer, who's a yogi that really brought like yoga and yogic philosophy into the West, he recounts all of these experiences with various like mystics and saints who do these like crazy miraculous things in India, and like yogis and like, you know, like telekinesis, or like just spontaneously creating flowers from thin air, just doing these things that kind of bend the rules of reality. It's like when you read about these accounts from various spiritual traditions, something also that helps me is that there's these accounts are like in things like Christianity and Islam and like Western religions, but then there's also them in Eastern religions like Buddhism, with like the like Tibetan Buddhism with the rainbow bodies and the monks, and then there's indigenous South American and North American things as well. It's like they all of these spiritual traditions have some sort of miraculous experience embedded into it, and that really helps me soften my skepticism too, because I'm like, okay, there has to be something going on here for all of these disconnected places around the world to be talking about the same type of thing. So yes. Okay, so the next part is when your soul selects her card, it can feel effortless to ask for what our loved ones need. We can fall on our knees at times to pray for the health and highest possible outcome for our beloved children and partners or friends. What's often far more difficult is asking for all that we need. For many of us, lack of self-worth can get in the way of realizing that we can ask for so much more, and that ultimately there is no difference between praying for our own needs and the needs of our loved ones. There are so many miracles, graces, and blessings that don't arrive simply because we don't ask for them. Spirit is ethical. Spirit doesn't interfere with our intrinsic right to choose our own adventure story. Free will is ours, so we have to ask for Spirit to intervene in the effort of our own healing. Ask and you shall find. This is spiritual truth. And also, suffering is optional. Suffering doesn't glorify us or make us more holy. The rest is kind of just like, I feel like we're beyond that. Already we've evolved beyond that. So yeah, it's just like ask, like, yeah, like for some of us that's going to really resonate really deeply, like ask for the specific things and be open to them. But what's really coming through when I read that is just be open to crazy things, like be open to things beyond your imagination, and ask for them. Like for me, it's not really about like specific things to pray for or whatever, but just being open to that miracle coming through. So the other card that came through was Divine Mother. So both of these cards have like this like Divine Mother energy, and this one Mother Mary appears in the little thing, and then in this one It's literally Sarada Devi, the Divine Mother. Unconditional love exists within me. The presence of love is the absence of judgment. Okay, just need to sit with this one for a bit. Okay. This is what I don't feel like reading the guidebook. So this one is really, again, about letting go of the mental frameworks of, you feel the energy of this miracle energy coming through, and we have a tendency to want to try to figure out what it can be and what it's going to look like and when we try to do that, it's like we create these attachment cords, which actually keeps it away, because we've like, it's meant to come through in the way that it's meant to come through. And when we create these like mental frameworks or mental associations with how we think it's gonna be based on our limited experience, we create like these like boxes that it has to, the energy has to like confine in. And so like absence of judgment is what really stuck out for me for me with this card. It's like, whatever this is, don't try to judge how it's coming through, because it might be coming through in a way that, I mean, yeah, again, like miracles are literally like, there's a level of unexpectedness with it. So yeah, the more that we try to confine it within mental frameworks that we already understand or are already familiar with, the more difficult it is to pop into existence. And I'm also getting like, sometimes with some things that are coming in, like they can sort of try to confine within it, but this one is like straight up like, it's, if you have any sort of attachment on how it's supposed to be, that's going to keep it away. So you have to just like, the guidance is really just focusing on like knowing it's coming, but also not focusing on it. Like not like, spend your time doing something, like don't worry about it, like don't focus on it, don't do things specifically for it. I mean if that amulet thing is calling to you, then you can do something like that. But see, it's more of a passive, once you get the medal and you wear it, like it's more of a passive thing. Like you just, you know it's coming in. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to do more like card readings or like you don't need to like journal on it or anything like that, unless you want to, but you don't have to. Like just, yeah, actually, even if you want to, don't. Is what I'm getting. Yeah, just keep it open, keep it flowy, because we don't want to create attachments. Creating the attachments is what's slowing it down. So literally just like mind your own business and do your things, whatever you have been doing. Don't like alter the way that you're like living your life in anticipation for this thing, because it's just gonna like make it not come through. So I feel like, yeah, like don't attach to a timeline specifically either, you know, like what I did this week. And I was like, okay, it's coming probably on the full moon, right? And it's like, nope. Because you did that, now nope. Maybe it was, but because you created that attachment, now it didn't. So that's what's coming through. Okay, we've got these cards. Let's do this one, this one, this one. Benefactor, grace and generosity. Crown games, the right use of power, but in the reverse. Drifter, experiencing life as it comes, but in the reverse. I'm still trying to honestly figure out how to relate to the reverse energy, but let's see. I'm gonna pull some of these tarot. Let me just do all of it and then see what's coming through. I just felt this like pressure come up all of a sudden. Like pressure to do it right. The pressure of like reading this right, but just like this, like something, like that pressure of making sure I'm doing it right, like blocked the flow of intuitive insight coming through. So I guess that's like piggybacking on what I just said. It's like, you can't really mess this up. This is happening for you. Like this is coming to you. There's no way to mess it up, but you can slow it down by fixating on it. So just don't fixate on it. I mean, you can fixate. It's still going to come through. It's just going to slow it down. So instead of fixating on this thing coming through or this thing happening, trying to figure out what it is, what it's going to look like, what it's going to feel like, all of that, just live your life. Like focus on what you've been focusing on. Okay, let me sip some water. But yeah, it was just like this like pressure that came in this upper level that restricted flow. Okay. I just need to close my eyes for a bit just to clear this. I just feel like this tightness all of a sudden. Yeah, like a tightness and like a lightheadedness almost. So I'm actually going to pause this recording. I have all the things out here, but I'm going to pause the recording and actually like lie down for a little bit. And then I'll be back. Oh my God. Bro, whatever that energy was, it took me out. I think it's been, I don't know, my watch on. That freaking energy knocked me out, like literally. Like I didn't nap, but I'm gonna actually, should I leave these cards? Yeah, okay, we're just gonna do what these cards are. This is an intense energy. This is a intense energy. It's very like intense. Like it just like kind of hit me. Like it literally hit me in the face. Okay, and I had to go lie down. And I tried to like close my eyes, take a nap. It was very wired. Like I couldn't really go into a meditative state or anything. It was just like, couldn't do that. So what did work to transmute this energy that was really freaking intense just now, having fun, doing things that are fun, that are like easy to do, like connecting with your inner child and play and not judging. See, I also had this, right? Presence of love is the absence of judgment, not judging how you are wanting to process the intensity of this that's coming in. So keep talking about miracles, It's great. But guess what? When something happens that is beyond the scope of your mental framework, I think I even said this, it can be hard to process, it can be hard to place. It can feel intense because you're just like, your foundation of reality kind of gets shaken up a bit. Even if it's in a good way, it can be shaken up, okay? And then it takes some time to integrate and like put the pieces back together. Like it takes time to if you believe that reality works in a certain way and all of your experiences up until that point verify that or validate that, and then something happens out of that context, you have, like, everything is like scrambled in a way, and you have to put the pieces back together to create a new model of reality. So that can be an intense energy to process. And it's about like not judging yourself on how you want to process that energy. Like, what actually worked for me was, I thought I was like, I'm gonna take a nap or something, or like meditate or something like that. Didn't work. Well, you know what did work? Scrolling TikTok. That worked. Scrolling Instagram. That worked, because that took that pressure off. Like, there was this, like, the intensity is like this pressure. It's almost like, okay, now this thing came in, like it added some sort of pressure. Even though this thing, whatever it is, it's great. I think maybe it's like because it adds more responsibility. We got this card, leadership. We've got this card, benefactor, grace and generosity, and we've got crown games in reverse. So leadership and so let's start with leadership. Leadership is like, leadership means that you are in a position of power, and many people strive for that. We are like coded to strive for that leadership, right? Or power, sorry. But you know what? Oh, there's even a scale here, which kind of relates to what I was going to say next. When you are in a position of power, when you get put and placed into a position of power, you have control, but then you also have an elevated level of responsibility. And that's where this pressure can really feel weighty, like you have a lot of weight on you. And the scale reminds me of the law of polarity, of how we live in this universe of polarity, of good and bad. We're never going to eradicate one for the other. Like, it's never, this is actually the concept that came through today. So my whole brand is called Golden Age Streams. And often what I think about is that I'm here to activate leaders of the Golden Age, and this understanding that we're moving in as humanity into this era of the Golden Age. But what's been coming through really strongly over the past few weeks is humanity needs to update its understanding of what heaven is, or what it's not a utopia. Like, the Golden Age, it's not a utopia in the way that we might think it is. Like, it's not like all the darkness or all the shadow is eradicated. That's not what the Golden Age here on Earth is going to look like. The Golden Age is an integration of the light and the dark. It's like coming into an understanding that we're here to experience both. And when we understand that and we accept the dark, or we accept like the negative side of the polarity, what we're doing is we're understanding the purpose that those negative things hold. Those like challenging experiences, there's purpose. Like, there's purpose in trauma. Like, trauma teaches you things that you couldn't learn anywhere else. That gives you wisdom. Like, I wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't have like a core fundamental trauma that I experienced in my late teens. It woke me up, okay? Like, I had to go through that darkness to learn things about myself, to learn things about reality, and to deepen my understanding of this, like, of spirituality and spiritual wisdom. And so when we have something good, like, when we expand, like when something really good comes into our life, like a miracle that's really positive, we're not just expanding in one direction, we're expanding in both directions. Okay, so this miracle came in, which is like shifted us into this reality where things are better than they've ever been before. But then there's also like, you've expanded into also being able to, like, you now also have the capacity to face like the darkness on the other side of that. So in this thing of like leadership, a way that this can show up is, it feels really good to be in a position of power, to have control, because you get to like literally control the way that your reality looks, and you get to do what you think is right and experiment with life in that way. But at the same time, on the other side is responsibility, the weight of responsibility. That can feel like more of a negative energy, or the negative side of the polarity spectrum, because what if you make a decision that you think is right, and you're in this position of power, and it ends up having some really negative consequence that you didn't foresee? You have to be, in order to be in this position of power and be able to experience the benefits of that, you have to be okay with that dark side of it, that of like what would happen if something like that happened and you made a decision that caused harm towards others unintentionally. You have to be able to hold and process that energy. And so the scale coming up, and I think that's like where the pressure, it's like, and then same with crown games, right use of power in reverse. Crown games, this comes up like when it comes up right side up, it's usually coming up for me in times when people are misusing their power. So when it comes in reverse, it's like it's like we're using our power. Yeah, like it's come up when someone is not, like an abuse of power. So when it's coming up in reverse in this reading, it's almost like a reminder that it's almost like both in a way. Like just a reminder of when you get put into a position of power or you're elevated in some way, pay attention. Oops, I fell cards. Pay attention to how you're utilizing it, because there's a responsibility here. Okay. And then we got the Knight of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles. So this is obviously like classic, like, oh my God, everything's amazing energy, which it is. And then this one is like, you know what's interesting about me? I've never really like deep dive studied tarot. Like whenever I use it, I just go off of like the themes and vibes coming off from the deck that I have, and like just passively getting information about tarot. And this one, I see like, we get this, whatever this thing is coming in, it's going to put us in a reality where we have this, okay? It's almost like abundance, joy, prosperity, healing. And then we have this, like where also we have it now, and like anywhere we walk, we leave it behind. Like we're giving it to the world. This also relates to this. You know, like whatever we're getting, it's meant to be utilized for the greater good, like for the world. We're meant to be generous with whatever it is that's coming through. Like when we get put into this benefactor, literally, we're meant to be generous with whatever we are receiving. It's not just meant for us. Like it's almost like we're being given this miracle is coming in. We're being shifted into this reality of that reflects prosperity and abundance in whatever way makes sense for you in your individual life. But it reflects this like personal heaven on earth reality, okay? And as these blessings come in, there's a responsibility here. There's a leadership, there's power, there's a responsibility here to use our power the right way and be generous and a benefactor to others. Like leave with all of this that we have, make sure that you are leaving it behind as well. Like be free flowing with it. Wherever you walk, bless others. On this leadership card, we also have this like vessel that's spilling water into like a greater body, which kind of feels like the same energy that I just talked about. Whatever, imagine this is you, but this is just constantly full. Okay, you're going to be entering into a reality where your personal life and your personal self is going to constantly be full. It's like, this is never gonna run empty, okay? It looks like it is because it's like a vessel and it looks like it only holds a certain amount, but there is an unlimited amount of water in here. It's never gonna go down. And so use that water and pour into the whole, pour into the collective. Bless others with what you're getting. Yeah, and it's like this, there's a pressure here. There's like a responsibility to like be mindful of how you are stewarding and aiming this energy that's coming in, because it's like, it's an intense energy, and yeah, it's heavy. There's a way to deal with the heaviness. The way to deal with the heaviness is through like inner child connection and play, and not judging yourself for how you need to deal with this heaviness as it comes up. But yeah, there's like I can't even, it's like, it's almost like the weight of the world, or you're moving into a place where the actions that you take and the decisions and choices that you make, they make an impact. If you're watching this, you're someone who's been always connected to the idea of making impact, and it's gonna be happening now. And you'll realize that it's really great when the impact hits in the way that you want it to, but there's always going to be, like, you're not perfect and you're not all seeing. So you're going to make mistakes, and you're gonna have to learn how to process this like paralyzing energy that comes up with that, like where you feel like there's so much weight in every move that you make, and you just want to do good. You just want to do good and help everyone create this, and pour into the world. But you're a human being. You want to nurture the world. Lemon Bomb, nurture. You want to be this, like you want to nurture the world, but there is you want to be a herald of change, but you also know that you're not perfect, and you might make mistakes, and you might do things that create harm upon others because of this like dualistic nature of reality. And so you have to learn how to be with that energy, to process that energy in order to keep moving forward and to create, because like you don't want to end up in a space where you're just like frozen in fear and paralyzation, because if you do that, you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to create that change that you desire, because you'll be stuck in one spot, fear of doing it wrong. Yeah, rebirth, ayahuasca. Ayahuasca is also an extremely intense energy. You're here to aid in the rebirth of the world. You're gonna have a lot of influence on it. Got Drifter, experiencing life as it comes, but in the reverse. So what this is giving me is like very conscious decision making. Being very aware that when you shift into this new reality, once this like miracle thing comes in, this event, for some people it's a connection, some sort of opportunity in some way, shape, or form, it comes in, it's going to shift you into this place of power where every decision that you make matters. It has way more of an impact than you're used to having on the world. And with that, you can't really just drift along. You have to be very like conscious. Okay. And just like before we leave, is there any advice on how to not get stuck in that paralyzation mode. Like not get knocked out literally. We already got play, like focus on play, focus on lightness, like the balance, any heaviness that comes out, focus on like the light parts of life, connecting to child energy, like literally spending time with children or doing inner child work or something like that. Like connect to that playful, connecting with pets, playing with pets. Me talks, repairing. Okay, we get that. Me talks, repairing the mind, body, and spirit. Yeah, but how? Gestation period, winter's dream. That comes up when it's like, just like, oh, okay. Sometimes when the only way to like deal with the paralyzation is just to let yourself be in the stillness, be in the gestation period. If you come up against this energy and it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and you don't know what to do, allow yourself to be still. There's no rush. You don't have to make moves right away. Like allow the energy to gestate before you like make any choices. Last one. Yeah, overflow, overwhelm, and plenty. This is like something that, so I have this podcast called The Overflow Method, and I'm going to be talking about this eventually, but one of the qualities of the overflow energy, or like the energy of abundance or more than enoughness, is it can get overwhelming. And that's exactly what this like heaviness is. There's like this, with this blessing coming in, with this miracle coming in, there's this like sense of like overwhelm, like, oh my God, like I don't want to do the wrong thing. I don't want to mess this up. Like this is overwhelming. Okay, but how do we, I think I already said it. That's why they're not telling me how to. Yeah. Okay. There's not like any cards really coming through. Like it's literally, they're just like literally what I just said, like inner child connection. The only thing that can balance the weight is lightness. You have to play on both. It's like you're expanding your capacity and you're like increasing both the amount of pleasure and joy and beauty and light and brilliance and excitement and all of the amazing things. You're expanding into that, and that is because of who you are as like a light being. You are going to be anchored in that 90% of the time. But then there are going to be moments where you're going to feel the weight of the other side of the spectrum, the like darker side, you're just going to feel the heaviness of the world too, because like we're moving into a place where we're actually going to be able to make an impact. Like so far we've gotten used to being in this place where we see like the things going on in the world and we're just like, well, it's not like I have any power anyway. Like I don't have the resources, I don't have whatever to do anything. But like we're moving into a world now where we will have that. We will actually have the ability to make a difference and to make a change. And yeah, that in order to make a difference and to make a change, we have to be aware of what needs to be changed. And that can feel really intense because we're literally facing the shadow of the world to figure out what it needs. So dang, that was a crazy reading. No wonder I didn't do it yesterday, because we came back from a trip to Halifax on Sunday, and yesterday, like, I just kind of took it pretty easy. So like I now know what I'm happy that I waited to do this reading now, because this is like a lot. This is like a big, crazy change. One last thing before we go that's coming through is whatever this is, you're going to have to trust yourself. Like there's going to be people who don't understand. You know, like if you're vibrating at the frequency of miracles and like miraculous things are happening, and then people who have never experienced anything like that, or not even close to that type of perception, they witness it, they will have a lot of things to say. Okay, they'll have a lot of ways to try to discredit what's happening. And this is, again, this is part of that 10% of the dark side that is going to come in with this. You have to be very focused and diligent about staying focused on like what you do know. Don't like let this, like, it's like, don't let them get into your head. Okay, I mean, you're gonna be very stabilized within yourself, so it's honestly not going to be that much of an issue for you. It's not going to be that hard to not let them into your head, but it's just like an awareness that when you attract, like, it's, again, both sides of the spectrum, like you're going to be seeing more of people questioning you or like directing negative energy at you. Last week it was just like a red string that, you know how people use the like evil eye symbol? It's like that blue. Here, let me show you. I actually have it. This symbol, the evil eye one. This is more in like the Middle East and stuff. So I don't have any amulets or anything like this, but I do have red string, and red string has also been used across various spiritual traditions to create like a protection field. Again, you don't need something like this. It's really just to anchor in the energy, make it easier for you to anchor in the energy because it reminds you that it's there. It's like you can just like create a aura of protection around you. But sometimes it can help to have like a thing that reminds you of it. Same with that, like what came up through earlier in this reading about the medal of Mary. You don't need that object, but it can be helpful because it reminds you, it continuously brings your consciousness back to the concept that you've like created this field around you, like the field of protection, or like with the medal of Mary, this like field of miracles. And it just helps to stay like stabilized in your thoughts and stuff within that. So highly recommend this because yeah, there's something really amazing coming through. Like really, really amazing. And really big and really impactful. And it's like everything that you've always sensed for yourself. But now that it's actually happening, it's like becoming clear that we live in a world of duality. And so with this like really brilliant thing that's happening, we are going to have to learn how to process some of, like, face the shadows at a level that we haven't experienced yet either. But we have all the tools. Like, you wouldn't be in this position if you couldn't do it. And it's so worth it. But yeah, okay, we're gonna leave it at that. Yeah, we don't even need luck. Like, there's just this like aura of like spiritual protection. But yeah, it's almost like this like not a nervousness, not like a fear, but just like a whoo, like something's coming. Like, you know, like when you're at the top of a roller coaster ride and you know you're about to like go down, it's gonna be really fun, but like you're also like, it's gonna be intense. That's what's happening. We leave it on blessing. This is a blessing. This is a blessing. Don't be afraid by the intensity. You are literally able to handle it. This is a blessing. First and foremost, this is a blessing. This is a blessing for you. This is a blessing for the world. Period. Bye.